Singapore under the lights. A spectrum of stars on the track, zipping through the Formula One Marina Bay Street Circuit at over 60 kilometers per hour. It's the Lion City's biggest race on two wheels. It's OCBC Cycle Singapore's Pro Criterium. OCBC Cycle Singapore is the largest event of its kind in Asia. Now into its 5th year, the event has steadily grown into Singapore's largest mass participation weekend for cyclists. This year also saw the event incorporated into Cycle Asia, a new initiative from organisers Spectrum Worldwide to expand the winning formula across the continent.
Yeah, Cycle Asia is just been launched in January this year, and we have some exciting initiatives underway already. Robbie McEwen is here at this year's event as our official Cycle Asia ambassador, and his event in September, the Gold Coast Festival of Cycling, will be the 3rd event in the Cycle Asia calendar after OCBC Cycle Malaysia and OCBC Cycle Singapore. And then we will be announcing fairly shortly a new event in the Philippines, which will be taking place in November, and an event in Indonesia, which will be taking place in October. And as we look further afield to 2014, we have some guests that will be joining us from Cambodia that will be looking at an event there, and hopefully some guests coming in from Thailand to look at an event there as part of our expansion, along probably with Hong Kong in 2014.
OCBC Cycle Singapore 2013 is a 3-day cycling extravaganza highlighted by the Professional Criterium. This year the race saw 17 teams comprising of 62 of the top international professionals battle it out under the stars. The event boasted of a stellar lineup frontlined by London 2012 Olympic gold medalist winner Ed Clancy, 2013 World Omnium champion Aaron Gate, and Olympic and Tour de France veteran Stuart O'Grady.
I'm trying my best, that's all you can do. Road racing's a funny thing, you know, you can have great legs and not get a result, and vice versa, you can still be struggling and get a win. So I just want to stay in the race as long as I can. From a team point of view, we'd like to get a result, there's no doubt about that. Whether it's with myself or Kristian or Jimmy, it doesn't matter, but you know, we'd like to get at least one of our guys in the top 3.
You know, there's plenty of great riders from Australia and Great Britain and all over the place. So I think with all those guys in the field, it's going to make it really, really fast, and it's going to be fast for the whole race. So it's going to be a case of keeping hydrated in the humidity, because that's another thing that I've been adapting to in the heat. So it's all going to add up to make it really challenging.
2012 saw Australian legend Robbie McEwen sprint to the finish line in a sensational win, his last victory before retiring from professional cycling. Robbie's back again this year as part of the commentary team. Let's head trackside and join him along with the voice of cycling, Phil Liggett.
Well, riders coming up to the line: Luke Davison of the former junior world champion of Drapac cycling, Michele Merlo of Vini Fantini in the lime green colours on the left there. He was 2nd in the OCBC Cycle Singapore back in 2009. Well, Ed Clancy smiling with Aaron Gate on the right there, and Stewie O'Grady just off picture to the left. They're all good friends at this stage of the race, but of course in a few minutes time they're going to be crossing swords. I expect a fast start, Rob, because as the atmosphere is good, and as always they try to shake out the wheat from the chaff, if you like. Ricchesi here, just coming straight off 2 stage wins in the Zanzi Tour, which is a new tour of South Africa which started and finished indeed just on a week ago. There's Simon Clarke, first Australian ever to win the King of the Mountains title in the Tour of Spain, which he did last year.
It will be a fast start. Being a technical circuit, after about 300 or so metres, the riders turn off to the right and they approach their first really tight and narrow corners and then dive down into the Cycle Asia tunnel, in and out, and it forms the only hill on this circuit. It's really important to ride at the front of the bunch, particularly in the early part of the race, to not get caught out and miss one of those splits. Put yourself in the red zone early in the race. So these guys are going to want to get off the start line very, very quickly and maintain their position at the front of the bunch.
So the flag is about to go up here now. Tense moments. The riders no longer chatting and friendly to one another. Start absolutely crucial on this 1.6 kilometre circuit.
So as the bunch rolls away, you see immediately the speed is on. The rider, the Dutch rider Rabu from the OCBC Singapore cycling team, immediately to the front, really setting a high pace. You see the riders literally sprinting away from the line, all wanting to be at the front to approach these first corners. Early on in the race, you want to save as much energy as possible and really not miss anything.
Now there is the Cycle Asia King of the Sprint competition, which comes approximately every 10 laps of the race, and there's 5 sprints. And they will score 5, 3, 2 and 1 point in those King of the Sprints, and of course the one with the highest aggregate before the race ends at the end of the 5th sprint will win the $3,000 first prize. And so we'll see how they start that sprint when they get it underway. Now settling in, getting to know the course as they go down towards the corner for the first time and under the tunnel. That's a tricky old bend, that one, and you really need good positioning on that corner, because look at the long line now as riders are stringed out at the back, Robbie. These boys at the back have a lot of work to do to hang on to the tail of the peloton. This is the crucial approach to the finish of the lap, and the crucial approach, of course, to the upcoming finish of the race. So positioning is of the ultimate just around this section here. Then you've got the last 200 meters right up the home straight. Those tire marks, of course, reminiscent of the F1 event and not of the bikes. Opening lap.
Well, Phil, this circuit here with this double left-hander on the approach to the finish straight, from that corner is literally 200 metres to go. So a rider can really make a little gap in those corners. It's a good spot to attack, and then you can really line things up along the straight. But you do have the length of this home straight along the F1 pit building to sort of set things straight. So you've got a nice long, fast section, but it's these technical sections with these tight turns and down through the Cycle Asia tunnel that really make this race difficult. Well, I noticed as they came through there, Phil, through that tight 90-degree right-hand corner before the tunnel, all 4 of the Rapha Condor JLT riders were in the top 15 of the bunch. So they've all got themselves right up the front. They seem to be fairly well in control of this race, and it's just going to be a matter of how they play their cards. Most teams of 4, importantly, ORICA-GreenEDGE, Stuart O'Grady and Simon Clarke, a 2-man team. They're going to be up against it because they're heavily outnumbered by a lot of teams like Rapha, like the Kiwis, Drapac from Australia, all 4-man teams. So these guys are really going to have to be tactically perfect.
1 lap to go now to the sprint. There's the klaxon telling the riders next time around it's the first points in the Cycle Asian King of the Sprint competition.
But as we come into this final section through this chicane and then face the double left-hand turn to come onto the straight, we see someone make a jump, and that's Neil Vanderfloog of the OCBC Singapore cycling team, who's jumped the peloton through there, and look at the gap he's got going into the sprint.
Perfect timing, threw up on the inside on a tight left-hander. He's got a gap. It's not even a sprint, this one, but can he hang on? He's being chased by Pozzo in that lime green jersey and Brett Gillespie in the lighter blue, but it's over the line. So Neil Vanderfloog gets the first killing of the Cycle Asia Sprint Series. 4 more to come. He gets the 5 points. Matt Pozzo from Italy, 3 points. Brett Gillespie, an Australian there, gets 2. And the 4th rider over the line in the black jersey was Kristian House. He'll get 1.
We'll take a short break here, but we'll be back with lots more cycling action, so stay tuned. Welcome back to OCBC Cycle Singapore 2013. Let's join our commentators Phil Liggett and Robbie McEwen.
And they just recorded, for the first time in the 5-year history of this event, 2 minutes for the lap, 2 minutes flat. That's never been done before. They're absolutely flying now.
They are going very, very fast, Phil, and the dry circuit contributes to that, but also a very good quality field with the guys from Rapha. Talking of experience in Stuart O'Grady, Kristian House from the Rapha team marked him immediately. They know they can't let Stuart O'Grady get too far away. They've got to put somebody with him each time, and that's what these other teams with 4 riders will do. Use one guy to mark Stuart, one guy to mark Simon Clarke, and the other 2 get a bit of free rein, and now we see one of them going on the attack to counter-attack what Stuart O'Grady just did.
500 metres to go now as they head towards the left-hand turn. It's who comes off that bend now. Vanderfloog had it won on this very bend last time because he came through on the inside. I don't think he'll get away with that trick this time around, but he's right up there. He is up near the front. He's checked over his shoulder. You know, this is Vanderfloog again on the front. This time it is a pure sprint as he opened it, being chased by Aaron Gate, and Stuart O'Grady is in the mix there. But nobody, yes, Gate is trying to, but not. He's pulled back in. So it's the world champion from New Zealand who gets second. Second 5 points for Neil Vanderfloog. O'Grady crossing the line there in 3rd place. And I think it was Mauro Ricchesi, the Argentinian sprinter, who's gone over in 4th. Well, Vanderfloog, 2 sprints, 2 5-pointers. He's got a clear lead right now. And an attack going again and coming from Androni Giacatelli. Looks like the tall figure of Antonio Parinello again. As soon as the pace eases, somebody's willing to have a go, and just look how this peloton is shrinking.
Parinello saw his chance and he's taken off, and he's opened up quite a handy little lead there.
It takes a strong man to hold off a group at these sort of speeds, because the lapping, we've had 2 2-minute laps now, and we've never had a 2-minute lap in the history of the event until tonight, and now we've had 2 2-minute flat laps.
And here we have another attack by Roman van Ouden. He's being so aggressive early in this race. I wonder if he can actually maintain these sort of efforts for the whole hour and a half. So many times he's hit the front, but just you see the back of that little group off the front here. 2 riders from the Rapha Condor team. They really are using their numbers against guys like Stuart O'Grady and Simon Clarke, and the rest of the field. They are absolutely all over it. Well, you can't take your eye off the ball, so to speak, Phil, in a race like this. When you've got a rider like Stuart O'Grady, he goes out and he makes an attack. Well, he means business.
He's gone back into this pack. He's done his first job and he's staying away from the cameras.
Yeah, well, that's just another sign of the experience of a guy like Stuart O'Grady. He can read the situation so well. He got out there, he forced this split. It was pretty much all Stuart O'Grady's work that split the race apart. But he's now gone back, he's had a look around, checked out the numbers, 4 Rapha Condor riders, 3 from Vini Fantini. So he's gone back, had a talk to Simon Clarke. They're talking about their tactic, but also just recovering, you know, trying to recuperate a little bit from those initial efforts and think about what his next move is going to be.
Somebody going on the right here, and this looks as though it's Van Ouden, who is going to, remember, we're down the back straight shortly now. The build-up will come for the 5-pointer at the end of this lap, and no sign of Neil Vanderfloog at the moment. He's in the mix. I think he's gone round a second in the peloton, but it's Van Ouden here who is clear of the field. He's doing what Vanderfloog did in the first sprint, go clear on the back straight and get the advantage coming off the wheel here. Now Van Ouden running up towards the finishing line. He's got a very big lead, but there is a reaction from the field, and it's coming from the Vino Fantini team, and they are closing very quickly, but they should hang on here. Van Ouden, and that's Rudolph is coming up, and Van Ouden better watch out. Well, right on the line, Robbie. That will have to go to the photo, I think. I don't know if we can see it in slow motion, but that was very, very close between Van Ouden and Rudolph.
I'll be really interested to see how that goes when they see the photo finish. Van Ouden has just hung on by the skin of his teeth to take sprint number 3.
The judges have said it's Van Ouden who gets the 5 points. Rudolph will get 3. Aaron Gate gets 2, and Vanderfloog gets 1. So Vanderfloog keeps his lead with 2 sprints to go in the Cycle Asia King of the Sprints, and Rudolph gets 3 points, Van Ouden gets the 5. Incredibly quick race this now. They're way up on the average speed of the previous races for the amateur riders earlier on. We've had 2 2-minute laps. We're consistently going at 2:10 to 2:15, and the pace just shoots up when O'Grady gets onto the front. Look at the length of the line of these riders now. All the gaps are opening. This is a very pliable piece of elastic. It is stretching once again. And again, the Rapha Condor JLT rider at the front, checking who is with them, who isn't with them, and he wants that group to come back together again.
And that looked to me like Ed Clancy himself, so he didn't miss that.
Yeah, it is Ed Clancy, goes through in second wheel.
Well, there we go. Ed Clancy, he's now marking Stuart O'Grady. He knows he's the man to watch because he's just oh so strong when he goes. And when he does go, he keeps going.
So as they go around the corner, O'Grady back in control. Ed Clancy, the world and Olympic team pursuit champion, at least one of the 4 that won the gold medal in London, and indeed in Australia in the early part of last year as well. They're lining up, remember, for the sprint. There's a move by Simon Clarke here, coming through on the barriers. Now, this wasn't to be expected, but Clarke has hit the front. He wants the points, and Vanderfloog is trying to get on turns, but he's a bit of a way down as they come through the chicane again now, heading for the last bend in front of the pit building. Simon Clarke has gone very, very early, and he's being chased there by one of the riders. I think it's Felix English trying to get on terms with him. But look at that, straight off the bottom bend. I don't think they're sprinting flat out. There's no way they're going to get up alongside. English is trying, but Clarke will get the 5 points. Where is Vanderfloog? English goes over with 3 points, and we need to swing back a little bit to see. We'll have to wait for that one because we didn't see who crossed the line in third place. But I suspect, wiping his face there, Vanderfloog will have gone through in third place. 2 very valuable points for him.
A few more laps remaining, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back after the short break. The action heats up as the race enters its final stages.
Well, we've just gone through, Phil, and seen 2 laps to go to the next sprint, so they just come around so very quickly. But just when the riders are just starting to recover, they put the sign up again, and you know, they've been told, here's the next sprint. And I think this one's really going to be on. As you said, the difference between finishing 2nd and 4th is a couple of $1,000.
Yes. And I'll tell you what too, Rob, this last sprint is not too far away from the actual finish of the race, about 5 or 6 laps before the finish of the race itself. So this is going to be a crucial decision now by the guys who want to win the race as well as win the sprint competition. Luckily for Vanderfloog, he's got the first place. Who's going to get second? And they're starting to show lap boards. I saw just then there was a number of laps to go, but I didn't quite catch what it said. But we're into the last 7 or 8 laps of the race here as well. Now this is the sprint. We get back to the front of the race here. Remember that whoever finishes in front of the others, Gate, Van Uden and Clarke, whoever gets in first of those 3 will get second place. There's Gate right on the front now. I'm not sure he wants to be there just a moment. Simon Clarke is coming through. He's a big danger.
Well, Phil, I think we just missed that on camera.
Did we?
I saw someone just give Simon Clarke a bit of a pat and say, well done. They've actually already crossed that finish line of the sprint, and we'll just have to wait for confirmation there.
We are hearing, in fact, that it was Clarke who got the sprint number 5 ahead of Gate and Felix English, which means that Simon Clarke will finish second with the points required for second place. So a good result for Clarke, and Vanderfloog didn't even contest the sprint. He didn't need to. He has 13 points and was uncatchable. Well, the way that O'Grady is still riding his heart out here, we must presume that he is riding if they get the victory. The second group, by the way, is the distance of the leaders. This front group is about to be caught here, and they will be eliminated if they are caught. O'Grady seems to be working for Clarke if anybody's going to win from ORICA-GreenEDGE.
Something interesting there I just picked up, Phil, is Felix English from the Rapha Condor team has just spotted a bit of an opportunity. He's attacked out of the lead group and he's approaching this dropped group who are about to be lapped. He's going to take the advantage of running into their slipstream, making an attack, and trying to, I think, cause a little bit of confusion here. He'll go straight up and over them, and maybe hope the leaders get caught up behind them and things slow down and they don't realise he's gone and gotten away from them.
It's a judge's nightmare just at the minute now. 6 laps to go. Those lapped riders at the front, they've got to move over and not interfere with the action. You're right, there's Felix English. He's come up on them and gone through, and he's keeping on going. So this will draw the sting of the other sprinters, which is what he's planning to do. Make them chase him. If they don't, he's going to win. And it also softens up everybody for Ed Clancy in the sprint. Good attack, good thinking, good tactics by this team from the UK.
Yeah, this is a great little move, Phil. We've seen Rapha Condor really just controlling things, keeping it smooth. But now as we come towards the end, really trying to set things up and then an attack like this. But I tell you what, Stuart O'Grady says, hey, listen, boy, attacking, that's my thing.
Yes.
I'm coming too.
I think O'Grady has read the tactic book many times over in his career. He's been the most brilliant, intelligent rider. He smells moves as he would his dinner.
And a rider I did notice in there, Phil, the only Asian rider to make the split, so he's already won the best Asian rider classification.
Will you say his name, Robbie?
Puchong Say Udosin.
Well done.
They tell me that he shortens that and calls himself Puchong Bus. Well, what an incredible rider from the OCBC Singapore cycling team. He's from Thailand. He's managed to stay in this group, fly a little bit under the radar, but what a great ride to win the Asian rider classification.
Remember that cycling is a slightly lower level than the European level of cycling, and that's a terrific ride. He is the last surviving Asian rider, as Robbie has said, which means he gets the best Asian prize, and he's on the sponsors team, the OCBC Singapore team. So they've won the 2 interim prizes, if you like, with Neil Vanderfloog and with the Asian rider Syed Dumpson. So well done. All we need to know now is the winner of the race, and we're tapping down to 3 laps to go this time, and it's still House on the front.
Well, they'd be fairly confident they have everything under control, but I know for a fact that they wish they had a rear vision mirror and maybe a crystal ball to know what Stuart O'Grady is thinking, because Stewie hasn't just been out there just for fun tonight. He's been loving attacking. As they come through, get 2 laps to go, there's still plenty of racing left to come.
3.2 kilometres to the finish, 2 laps to go, and it is still House going for as long as he possibly can. At least he's showing signs of making an effort now. His tongue's out, and he swings over there to look at his teammates. They're all lining up. They've done everything right. Can they finish it on a high note and deliver Clancy to the finishing line?
Well, as they came through the final bend there, Phil, I saw O'Grady and Clarke together. O'Grady in front of Clarke as they now get the bell. 1.6k to go, 1 lap to go in the OCBC Cycle Singapore 2013 Pro Criterium.
McCallum leads Robbie Hooker here, Neil Vanderploeg in 3rd place. They're all trying to get Ed Clancy up into the mix as well. He's the big rider, centre of the 3 men in black on the right. And 2 ORICA riders now. Simon Clarke and Stuart O'Grady are hidden to the chicane, shoulder to shoulder.
O'Grady and Clarke in 4th and 5th position. They come into the technical part of the circuit. Rapha Condor taking control of this race, leading Ed Clancy out. They've still got the numbers. They've got the ball in their court. Full advantage to Rapha Condor.
Around the far side for the last time, down into the Cycle Asia tunnel for the last time. It's all about positioning in the tunnel now. There's a downhill, a flick left and a climb out. The rider's being dropped off the back. The pace has found itself a new level. Now we're waiting for the front shot. This is the backer marker. That was Giordani. He's a lap down. We're now at the front of the race here now. James McCallum is the man who's starting to set up. He's looking for a little bit of help now.
Well, you have one of the Kiwis, and look at Stuart O'Grady. Hits the front with Simon Clarke in his wheel. Stuart O'Grady here is leading out Simon Clarke. He's not a sprinter, but he's their best option. A very punchy little rider. Now, what can he do? They're lining up in his wheel. Stuart O'Grady going full gas. And look at Clarke. He's dived down under the inside. Simon Clarke has dived through into the chicane.
I don't know whether you saw it, Robbie, but he was actually shouting at Stewie to stay right because he wanted the inside. Now, Clarke, he did what he did on the second sprint, the 4th sprint rather. He's gone early. He wants the lead onto the home straight. He's got 10 lengths as he's come off that straight. Now he doesn't have to be a sprinter. He can stay the distance. It looks as though Simon Clarke is going to get the first win since he won the 4th stage of the Tour of Spain last August, because Clarke, it was Robbie McEwen for ORICA-GreenEDGE last year. It's Simon Clarke this time, and that was Ed Clancy right up alongside him, but second it'll have to be for Clancy.
Well, Phil, what a tactical masterpiece by the ORICA-GreenEDGE riders. Simon Clarke takes the win. Stuart O'Grady led him down the back straight and towards that double chicane, and the 2 last left-handers, Simon Clarke managed to gap them off, attack out of that last corner, just like he did in those sprints. What a fantastic ride. And you see the boys celebrating and justifiably very, very happy with that performance.
So let's have a look at the result then. A win for Simon Clarke in 1 hour, 30 minutes and 42 seconds. They did do 42 laps of the circuit, 2 of them at 2 minutes a lap. Ed Clancy second. Roman van Uden was in 3rd place. Robbie Hooker, the quiet sleeper, finished in 4th in the end. Michele Merlo, he's been second. Now he'll have to be satisfied with a 5th place here in Singapore. Aaron Gate across the line in 6th. Michael Freeberg 7th, and Mauro Ricchesi in 8th place. So the sprinter, he got back in and he finished in 8th place. He will be a little bit disappointed with that result, I think. And in the Cycle Asia King of the Sprint competition, a done deal for Neil Vanderfloog, really, from sprint number 1, which he won. 13 points for him and 3 points more than Simon Clarke, who's had a good night out, hasn't he? Aaron Gator getting 3rd in this with 8 points, and Roman van Uden getting 5 points there. So those are the results, and we can go down to Robbie McEwen now. I think he's with Simon Clarke.
Tell us how you approached that last couple of laps, the tactic, and how it all panned out for you.
Yeah, look, we had our work cut out tonight because we're only in a team of 2 against teams of 4. So, you know, we really had to use our experience from racing in Europe to make sure that we could make 2 pairs of legs count like 4 pairs of legs. And so when the breakaways went, we tried to sit back and make the other teams chase and really save ourselves for the finish. Stewie and I have both had long races in Europe in the Classic, so it really took us a good hour to get going, and I felt myself, and I could see in Stewie that, you know, after 1 hour we started feeling good, and we had a bit of a chat at the back there and worked out how we were going to do it in the finish.
Well, absolutely fantastic effort and a deserving winner. Australia and ORICA-GreenEDGE's Simon Clarke.
With that sensational victory, the curtains come down on yet another successful OCBC Cycle Singapore. We'll see you again next year. Goodbye.